and it's their intrinsic
nature. This food basically robs.
Sound feasible, sound like. And the problem is, it's a cycle. We seeing it happen, and we rapping about it, and because we rapping about it, we seeing it happen, and we ain't realizing that. And when you try to point this out to people, it's, you're a coon, or it's a problem. So we gotta realize the trap and understand that the culture that we have today was given to us to destroy us. So when people say that it's our culture and it's black culture that's destroying the black community, this and that, I say, who created that culture? We had no culture. When we finally started to understand where we came from and embrace our real African culture, it was taken away from us and, blocked by rap, by hip hop. And we are just now, black people starting to come back into it and come back into this knowledge and understand, about our African history and things that's going on and stuff like that. And, not only do we have to face, our enemy, the powers that be, but we got to go up against other black people as well. We have to go up against religion. And, religion it's been the main downfall of the black community, because you got black people standing around thinking that Jesus is going to come save us and that everything that's happening is for a reason, or that we cursed. When there's black people out here who trying to do something and fix the community and fix things, you got other black people cheering that cops are killing us. Too many people egos is out there, and people feelings get hurt when you try to wake them up. And, that's the problem. People accept this whole nonsense called religion without question, and they think we are all supposed to just accept it, and it hasn't helped us, it hasn't saved us, it hasn't fixed anything, and we are just supposed to sit around and wait till it does. Common sense, sane people can't accept that. We got to do something. We got to identify the problem and fix it. But if everybody is pointing the finger at the wrong enemy, then nothing is going to get done. And that's what's going on. You got so many people pointing the finger at different things, and nothing is getting done because nobody can identify the true problem, the true enemy. Some people think it's us, black people. We just cursed and we got issues. Other people think it's just the white man. Every single white Joe Schmo walking the streets is against us. And one of the things I have to tell black people is this: you got to understand, you got to get off of that. You got to get off of that. If every single white person, if our enemy is the white race and they outnumber us in America, why the hell are we still here? If our enemy is every single white person and it's black against white, why haven't they taken over? Why are we still here? Do you think if 25-50% of black people in America was killed, that who's going to come to our aid? Who's going to come fix things? Africa can't do it. They don't got no grand army. They're a bunch of separate countries. All they got to do is come up with an excuse. Oh, well, we had to kill these black people because of such and such. And the people will mourn, and we'll have a day to recognize all the black people that died in whatever stupid event they come up with. And that'll be the end of it. It'll just be, 20 million black people killed, dead, gone. And we got to accept that. And then there'll be people like me out there, conspiracy theorists, giving the true explanation of what happened. And then you'll have other black people and white people saying, well, it was this, and people will be arguing about it, but nobody will be getting to the bottom of 20 million black people being killed. That's what's going to happen. So this whole thing about the entire white race against black people is ridiculous, when we got white people marching with Dr. King, white people marching with us today. We got to stop that and identify the real enemy. And it's not a race of people. It's a system. White supremacy is a system. It's not white people. It's white people hiding behind white people to complete their agenda, using white America to complete their agenda. And when you look at their system, it's not just white people. It includes Asians and Hispanics and black people as well when you pay attention to the whole thing. This is what I try to point out. So people always come to me and kick this black power stuff, and I'm all for black power, this and that. I'm all for all that. But I know who the real enemy is. And I'm not blinded by hatred that I can look past the real enemy at an enemy who's proven not to be my enemy. And I can say this, me personally, I can say this, and others can say this as well, because I've traveled the world. I've lived around the world. I've lived in societies where black and white people live and there's no problems like this at all. Nothing like what we're going through here in America. It's no issues. As I said, I lived in Sweden for a few years before I just now came here in January, and no problems. If you call somebody a nigger in Sweden, you're getting a fine if a cop hear it. It don't exist. It's not existent. There is no agenda in place to destroy the image of black people. Black people over there are successful. They have businesses. They're doing well, doing good, going to college for free. Everybody gets along. There's no black community. It's no white community. Everybody lives together. So I've seen it work. But then I know America, and I can see the agenda in place to destroy the image of black people. I can easily point that out. It's easy to see it when you know the history, when you understand what's going on. So I can say that. I'm not saying that to, try to stick up for the entire white race and this and that. This is about the truth. This is not about a race. It's about the truth and understanding who the real enemy is and what we need to do to destroy their agenda. So what is African American culture? What is it? We would say hip hop is our culture. What is our culture? You can't just take a couple people wearing dashikis and African stuff and say, well, this is African American culture. There's no such thing as African American culture. We have African culture. African American culture is hip hop. That's not our culture. That's something that was given to us to destroy us. But this is the culture that is widely accepted amongst black people. They don't want to accept this. They don't want to accept the dashiki, all black people. Some black people actually think it's something evil. Wearing the dashiki, that's something against that. I've seen preachers convince congregations that bringing back, the African mass and stuff like that was evil. It's going to have evil spirits in your house. You don't know who prayed on these African masks and going to release some kind of demons in your home. I mean, it's the stupidest shit ever. Stuff like this is the reason why we can't unite. And I always point to religion because religion is in the way. It always has been, always will be until we get rid of it. Some of you now are conscious and are awake and understanding what's going on. You have accepted the great history that we come from and understand, what has taken place. White people are waking up to that fact and understanding what's going on. And they got a lot of goddamn questions because they like, what the fuck is our history then if all this is bogus? And the reason why, I get so many questions and messages from white people because they want to know. They can't fathom it when you do the research and it leads you to this point where it's all bullshit and it just drops off as far as information. Everything they've been told is a damn lie. And that's stressful for a person who is proud about where they come from and thinking they come from somewhere and they did all these great things, and they realize that the accomplishments of white people were stolen accomplishments of black people, of Africans. And a lot of people are waking up to that fact that many of the accomplishments of African people, the credit is given to white people. And it's a shame that we can't come together on this because of ego, because people don't want to wake up and see the truth. And this is what's leading us into all the problems and issues we are having with each other as, so-called race, black race and white race. But nonetheless, the truth is the truth for anybody who wants to accept it. It's just that simple. Either you're going to accept it or you won't. Regardless, it's still going to be the truth. Plain and simple. So, the culture that we have, where we come from and everything like that is not reflective of where we are today. It's just that simple. Our true culture, I should say. The hip hop culture is, you see what we get. And we are in this position because of that culture, because we have adopted and accepted this culture instead of accepting our true culture. And it's by design, plain and simple. So we are exactly what they made us to be. That's why I titled the video that. We are exactly what they made us to be. Our culture, everything. We are on point, on schedule to fulfill their agenda. And it doesn't discourage people when I say this. Some people just, whatever going to happen. It's not written. We have a chance to fix this. It's not done. It's not over. And many people are accepting defeat. I get a lot of defeated messages of people, well, what are we going to do? And they keep killing us and it's over and this and that. Nah, it's not over. It would have been over if it's over. And we got to wake up. We are waking up, and it's scaring the hell out of a lot of people. And this is why we're seeing what we are seeing. It's a part of an agenda. We've seen it before in the 70s and the 80s when we start waking up and realizing who we was, what happened. The whole crack epidemic and hip hop and everything like that. So, I was thinking, everything that's going on now with the killings should be more of a wake up call to black people. You would think this would be what really brings us together and unites black people. But I still see knuckleheads out there, still stuck in religion, still killing each other. And I can understand why some people are getting discouraged. The problem is, it is also waking up a lot of people, not just black, but white people as well. So it's kind of backfiring. But this is an agenda. As I keep talking about, I know some people say, well, you talk about the same stuff. I have to pound this. Not everybody sees every video. I have to really express these things to people and get you to understand what the agenda is. And that's divide and conquer. You have a people who are in power, who are not Americans, who don't come from here, who are using their position, using their race to fulfill an agenda. I really wanted to get into this video and just touch on culture. We are who they made us to be. And they made us to be this because they want to destroy our image and to influence America into, thinking we are something that we are not. So everything that they do to us can be justified. It's just that simple. It's just that simple, people. If we ever united, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, we will finally see who the real enemy is. And they understand that. So they are acting accordingly. Nothing you are seeing today now is a shock. Nothing. This is on par with their plan. This is everything that they want to be done. We are going along with it, falling into the trap, not waking up and finally seeing who the real enemy is. Just that simple. We got to wake up and see the trap. Some people get it, some people don't. But regardless of if you do or if you don't, it's still the truth. The fact remains. If you want to go ahead and accept this culture and praise it and say it's the best thing for black people and I'm eating, I'm this and that, you're a sellout. You're a coon or whatever you want to call people. It's just that simple. So, yeah, it's tough not to like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. It's tough not to like these people, and the music they put out is you can dance to it, it seems fun, and you want to like it. You want to get into it. You want it to be something that black people can just take and be, proud of. But, it's not. It's not something we should be proud of. It's not something we should look to as being the defining thing for black people. We have music, we have sports. That's it. What else is there? So these are the things that define our culture. So when we start going back and looking at the history of black people and the great things and the rich black people in America, you're going to find these people in entertainment, sports, and that's it. Athletes, rappers, actors. We're the scientists. We're the doctors. Where are the people who's going to make a real difference? We just lost one of those people in Dr. Sebi, who was, I'm going to say, killed. Gone. Somebody who was really important. That if we really understood how important that man was, he should have never been touched. Ever. This is why I say, No, we don't support each other. And we lose good people. Dr. Ben should not have been in the home all broke and poor and feeble the way he looked, and people just exploiting him to take pictures. Dr. Sebi was getting money. He had money. He was doing good, but he wasn't protected. He wasn't really taken seriously the way he should have been. I mean, I honestly believe they killed Left Eye because of Dr. Sebi. She was trying to tell the world that this man has the cure for everything. And she was influential. And, she made an effort to get out there and teach and to tell people that, hey, this dude has the cure for everything. And I think that's why she was killed. But we don't protect, we don't support the real people. And that's the problem. And we've been trained that way. Our mindset is so fucked up that we think that every little thing that's involving money or something that a black person asks for is, it's a trap at the end of it. You can't even say something genuine without a person thinking you have an ulterior motive. Oh, he just said that because he wants some money. Or he just said that because he wants you to buy his DVD. Or he wants you to like his video. Or he just saying that. We can't even accept positive feedback. Or we can't even accept, the truth. The truth without people thinking there's an agenda behind it. And this is why we are being destroyed. They got us by the balls. And I'm happy to see that, so many black people are waking up, white people as well, Hispanics. I have a video coming that I'm going to do about the real history of the Mexican people, Hispanics, as it pertains to the Native Americans and the Asians, and the whole thing that happened here with the Mongoloid people and everything that happened as far as the beginnings of the people who came here to America first. And I'm gonna get into that in my video about who was here, and you'll really get that history. And Mexican people should understand, as I said before, how the hell they're gonna kick you out of a country that you was in way before them. And for the most part, Mexican people have just conformed and, they go along to get along. But y'all need to understand y'all history and the history that we have, with each other that they're trying to destroy and trying to hide. But I'm going to get into that. Now, I didn't want to make this a too long video. So I just wanted to touch on that point and get people to understand that we are exactly who they made us to be. And we are where we at because this is where they want us to be. And unless we wake up and understand that and change it, we're going to stay right here and continue to see the same atrocities on the news and, everything else. So we need to really, again, understand who the real enemy is. Stop pointing the fingers at each other. Wake up and understand and recognize and educate yourself. And just look out for each other, because right now we need all the help we can get. If they gonna kill a preacher, a pastor, a church going dude, I mean, come on, the way they did a woman on top of that, a white woman cop, they gonna do that. I mean, it's not safe for nobody. It's not even safe to be anywhere by yourself. And I mean, you can't even put your hands up, and that's enough. What do we do? So if y'all can't come together, we can't come together over this. If we can't come together and recognize now it's the time, wake up. I don't know what's going to happen. So people need to decide whether or not they want to keep embracing this culture, this hip hop culture that is not us, or embrace the truth, embrace what's really African, what's really us. And I know when people start talking about, anything against hip hop, a lot of people just, they tune out. When people think, what will life be like without hip hop, just think it's going to be this boring world. And as I said, the same way hip hop is destroying the black community, it can fix the black community. Every single bit of music don't have to be negative. We can still have hip hop music that's positive, that's uplifting the black community and stimulating our minds to do something better other than shaking ass and killing each other and, trying to be gangster. People always say that, oh, you sound white and this and that. You trying to sound like the white man, this and that. Come on, man. Every single one of us grew up in a country dominated by white people. We grew up in a white culture. It's just that simple. What this society accepts as being educated just so happen to be what white people are doing, what white people consider to be educated. So if you educated in this country, then most likely you sound like a white person. I don't understand what sounding like a black person in America is when this culture is all white. We haven't made a culture for ourselves yet here. And people don't understand that. They think gangsta is our culture. They are the original gangsters. That come from the mob. That come from Italians. Bugsy Siegel and, John Gotti and all them. That's not us. That's people who we copying. So when you say gangsta and everything like that, drive-bys and all that wasn't us. That was them. We took it and we copying it. And now we saying it's us. Our culture is gangsta. That's them. Give me something else. What's our culture? This is our culture. Whether you choose to accept it or not. Go back to Africa. Put on the dashiki. That's our culture. Understand what voodoo really is. That's our culture. That's us. So if you're not embracing that, if you embracing that Bible or that Quran, that's not your culture. That's not you. That's something that you've accepted because you don't want to accept the truth. And that's just the facts. And we got to decide as